Hello world. In this video, you're going to learn how to use LLM to help with your data analysis. And we're going to do that using Snowflake Notebooks. And so without further ado, let's dive in. So in this notebook, you're going to essentially retrieve a penguin's data set. We're going to take that and then we're going to convert it into a data frame. And then you could provide your questions that you would like to know about the data set, and then it will run the LLM generation response and take the data and then provide the answer based on the data that it uses as an input to the LLM model. And then you'll be able to have your generated answer ready for you to go. And so let's have a look at the actual notebook here. So let me expand this a little bit. And let's have a look at the packages first before proceeding further. So in this tutorial, you're going to notice that we're using the tabulate package. Also, we're using Python 3.9, and the Streamlit is provided natively here. All right, and so let's proceed to retrieving our Penguin's data set. So the link to the CSV data of Penguin's data set will be provided in the video description. And so we'll import this into our database. So here we're importing it into Chanin N. Demo data, you could replace this with other locations in your environment. And then the public schema, and then the table name is penguins. So let's perform the simple query. And here we have our retrieve table. So we have the species, the island, the bill length and depth, the flipper length, and also the body mass, and also the gender of the penguins. So this is the SQL code query here, and then we have the generated response, which is assigned to the cell name of SQL output. And so we'll easily convert that into a pandas data frame by appending two pandas, and then we're running this in a Python cell. And then we have the generated pandas data frame ready for us to go. Next step is we're going to create our helper functions. So the first one is the generate DeepSeek response function here, which will generate the LLM response by using the prompt variable, which is user provided, as the input query. And it also uses the extract think content functionality in order to extract or parse the content from the LM generated response, because the response will have the content right inside the think tag. And so it will have to extract any content within the think tag and then display it in the response output. We also have the escape SQL string functionality that will allow us to format the SQL string that is used for the LM model generation. And so we'll run this. Okay, and then we're going to proceed to creating the actual Penguins application. And so we're calling it the Asking About Penguins app. So that will allow you to ask any questions about the Penguins data set. And so here, the app code here is roughly 50 lines of code. Let's run the cell here in order to generate our app. And so you're going to see here that we're essentially importing the necessary libraries. We are importing Streamlit. We're getting the active session. We're importing JSON, pandas, and also the RE library. We're creating the title of the app as about penguins. And then we have the emoji. We're getting the active session here, which will be used for the session.sql command here, which will essentially be the LM generation. And so we provide a few questions to get you started. You could also add more here as you like. And then we're using st.select box for conveniently allowing you to test this interactive application. you could also replace it with st.text input, and then you could ask any question. And then we're going to initialize the app by providing some of the prompting magic that will allow you to take the data as an input in a pandas data frame, and then allow you to feed that to the LLM model in order to generate the answer. And so here we're going to set the temperature to 0.7, the maps token to 1,000, and then we're also going to assign guardrails to be true. Then we're going to display the data frame of the penguin's data. And then we have the condition here that upon clicking on submit button, which is right here, to initiate the LLM model generation thinking process. So you're going to see the thinking widget spinning, and then within the status container, it will perform the LLM generation process, which means that it will run the generate DeepSeek response custom function that we've created. And then when it generates the answer, it will be assigned to the response variable. And then the response variable will be the input to the extract think content, which will parse the underlying think tag. And then it will display the think content in the container, which is expandable. And then outside the container, it will display the generated answer, which is the answer that follows the thought process. So let's have a look. So our question here would be, which penguin has the longest bill length? Or you could select any other, or just leave it as the first one as the default. And it will perform its thought process by analyzing this data set. Click on submit to initiate the process. Okay, and so it's thinking. Give it some time. And so you'll notice that we essentially didn't really provide any context about how it should perform the data analysis. And so I believe that that would be a good way to expand this particular application by providing more information on how it should perform its analysis, whether it should prepare the generated answer in a particular way or format, which might be suitable for further generation of, let's say, data visualization, right? So that could be a potential way that you could add some form of preparation that you want to do using LLM to do that for you. And then you could then use that as the input for providing downstream data analysis, like data visualization, for example. And so here is just very loosely telling it to analyze the data from the prompt here. So the prompt is essentially a system prompt that tells the LLM that it is a helpful assistant that it should use provided data to answer natural language question. And then the user has asked the question provided here in the question variable. The question variable is the selected question by the select box. And then it wants to use this data to answer the question. And then we're specifying the data frame, but then we're converting it into a markdown format without the index here. And that's probably it. And as mentioned already, you could also provide some additional cues for it to perform the analysis by enhancing the prompting. All right, so here we have the thought and also the generated answer. So the generated answer is the penguin with the longest bill length is a gentoo from the Bisco Island with a bill length of 59.6 millimeter, and it's a male. Key steps was scan all entries for the maximum bill length mm, and it identified the highest value to be 59.6, which is belonging to the gentoo species. And it also verified associated detail that it's coming from the island Bisco, and it's a male penguin. And here are the underlying thought process And so it provides kind of like a step-by-step, breakdown of how it's approaching this particular question. So it starts by kind of like restating the question that is being asked, which is the user wants to know which penguin has the longest bill length. And it's looking at the data, it's checking the entries, the column here, the bill length column, and it notes that the data set has three species, and that is going through each of the species bill length, starting with the Adelie, and it sees that the highest value is 646 millimeter, and then is noting that Adelie from Torgeson Island has the 46 millimeter, and then it proceeds further to other species, and then analyzing it further, and then at the end, it generates the answer, but it's reconfirming it, it's doubling check the answer here, and then it double checks already, and then it confirms that the number is the highest, and then the answer is the Gentoo penguin with a bill length of 59.6. And then you'll see the generated answer, as already mentioned. So it's very amusing to see the actual thought process by the LLM in generating the final answer. And so with this, let me know in the comment section how you're expanding this particular use case for your own data set. And yeah, let me know in the comment section down below what other future videos that you'd like me to create. And if you reached this far, please drop a snowflake emoji in the comment section. And I'll see you in the next one. Happy coding!